Hmm. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. This is your home girl, Arabia Barbosa 914, which is County, New York. Doing another live video real quick. And I don't know if y'all seen that short I did on my channel with Drew. Yo, I was trying to cheer my own self. Remember that dog, Droopy? That was an old ass cartoon. But y'all gotta take a close look at it. Nobody has been able to catch on to the joke in over a fucking week. I might have to do a Cash App giveaway so y'all can guess who who I'm thinking about in that picture. Yo, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. This is your home girl, Arabia Barbosa 914, which is the county, New York. Yo, I did a video yesterday about a young lady named Yasmin Williams. She was murdered not too long ago, and whoever had killed her had stuffed her body. They said it's either two different bags. It's either a duffel bag or a garbage bag. But the dude that was found with the body, he was in a fucking wheelchair. And I'm looking at the story, right? And I'm saying to myself, this is not the first time this has happened anywhere. But it seems like it's happening more and more. I don't know if anybody remembers during the 70s and 80s when white women were disappearing, and you saw these white women on a milk carton, or you saw posters about them being missing and stuff like that. And I had asked the question to my mother that was raising me at the time. I said, why is it that every time we look around, these white women are disappearing? They're being kidnapped. I said, does it happen to black women? She said, no, it doesn't happen to black women because nobody wants the black woman. She's too loud and overly aggressive. The black woman would never be kidnapped. She was kidnapped from Africa. If you can kidnap a woman from her own country and take her across country lines, country boundaries, you have accomplished something. I'm not saying that white women are not being mistreated, but what I'm saying is in this country, it seems that when something happens to a white woman, people are out there on the ground searching for the woman. Couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. And then when people give up on the search, it's usually a year when they give up the search. But when it happens to a black woman, nobody looks for her. Nobody. And I find it very interesting why black women lives don't matter to certain populations. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you who the black woman is. The black woman is the reflection of who God is. Because the black race was here on earth before any other ethnic groups, before anybody else. Shout out to the chat. Y'all may not believe that, but it's the fucking truth. And I find it so interesting that different things happen to certain women and certain communities, and nobody says a fucking word. Just like we got child abuse cases all over this fucking country. Congress has the power. The people that you vote in the Senate and Congress, governor, mayor, family court judges, even your police chief or your sheriff, they have the power to change certain policies. They choose not to change a goddamn thing. Child abuse has been going on in this country for years. Some people laugh about it. I don't find anything funny. I don't find anything funny. And let me tell you something. If you go to prison for a certain crime dealing with children, trust me, the inmates in there will deal with you. And people on the outside need to be just as vigilant. They found Yasmin Williams stuffed in a trash bag not too long ago. Not too fucking long ago. It's not going to be national news. It's not. You know why? Because she's not a white woman. If that was a white woman, people would be outraged. People would be out in the street marching right now. I'm just saying, my personal experience in life, in dealing with this fucking country and how the media deals with certain stories, I find it very interesting. I find it very interesting. But I'm not going to be up here that long. Shout out to the chat. Those that are not here will catch the playback. I hope you catch the playback for some of these videos. Yesterday I went to work. I don't have to go today. I go back tomorrow. And then I received word on some other information. So I'm going to check on that today while I'm home. Then I'll probably go out and about later. But as for right now, I'm at home. A shout out to the chat. And next week, I'm going to memorize the Barney song and sing it for you all in Spanish next week. Because yesterday, I went to work with a coworker of mine, and her English is not very good. She's from Cuba. She's been in this country a little while. But we was talking yesterday, and she told me so many different wonderful things. She said when she left her country, she went to Brazil. She stayed in Brazil for 2 years. This woman speaks Spanish. This woman speaks Portuguese. So me and her, we was talking yesterday, and I had such a great time talking to her. And like I told, certain people on this app, I'm practicing Spanish. I'm practicing how to speak Spanish. Everyone I talk to, and they're a Spanish speaker, they all say the same thing. My Spanish is very good. I just need to keep practicing and keep practicing. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I got to do it. I'm learning Spanish. I'm learning Swahili. I want to nail down certain phrases in Swahili, but I gotta do that like the way I did the Spanish language. Because when I first started learning Spanish, I learned how to say certain colors and certain objects in the house, and you go outside the house and you got certain names for certain things. And she was breaking it down for me yesterday. And she was like, "Oh, this is how you say this." And I found it very interesting that she took some time out yesterday to and that's the thing about Americans. When we learn something new, we might make mistakes about it, and we're not open to suggestions or criticism. I'm open for certain things. That's the only way I'm going to learn. That's the only way I'm going to grow. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, man. This country is it's one of the biggest and most wonderful countries in the world. Don't get me wrong, but we got a lot of problems in this country. We got a lot of issues going on, social issues that will never fucking go away. You can look in history where black women were not revered. One example, I'm gonna give y'all one example. Fannie Lou Hamer. Does anyone remember who she was? I do. I do. And I remember reading about her in school. I remember going on YouTube, listening to her story. Fannie Lou Hamer was a civil rights activist. She was someone that was interested in getting people registered to vote. She was a part of the Democratic Party in Mississippi. When she registered to vote, what happened to her? She was put off the plantation she was living. She had been living there most of her life. She became homeless. People started trying to put hits out on her, trying to kill the woman. The woman got sick one day and had to go to the hospital. Don't you know they sterilized Fannie Lou Hamer? And that's what they was doing back in those different times in this country. That's the dark past of America. The only reason why they know certain things about the human body is because during slavery, they used to use the slaves to experiment on. That's why they know about the anatomy of the human body. That's how they know about the reproductive system. And let's not leave out the fact that they mistreated their own people. Because we saw that in the Holocaust movies. The Holocaust was caught on what? Video. They have it on video. What happened during slavery? They don't have it on video. But what happened in Jim Crow, they have it on fucking video and they refuse to acknowledge. They built a national Black History Museum downtown Charleston. And they don't build these museums so they can, educate people. No, it's all about bragging rights. It seems like to me, certain people that build these fucking museums and all that, they seem to be so proud of what happened during slavery. That's what it seems like to me. That is what it seems like to me. Shout out to the chat. Those that are not here, you're cast to play, babe. And I said to myself, why do they got this big museum downtown? They got the slave market still there. It just seems like certain parts of the South are very proud of how they treated Black people. They still treating Black people like that to this day. But now we got them on video. And we got them on video. And so much shit has happened in this country. I remember what happened to Rodney King a couple of years ago. I remember when those police officers had beat that man in California a couple of years ago. They put him in jail. They charged him with all kinds of charges. The police officers were found not guilty. And that kind of shit has been happening in this country for far too fucking long. When something happens to a Black person, oh, the person is found not guilty. Yeah. Yeah. Only, in certain instances, if something happens and it becomes national news, of course, they're going to find the person guilty. Because everyone is saying that the person is guilty. But do they give the death penalty to a lot of people that need to get the death penalty? I feel if you kill a child, or if you kill a woman, or if you do some kind of sexual act to these two different groups, when you get caught up by the authorities, I do believe you need to be executed. I do believe in the death penalty. I do. Shout out to the chat. I'm always going to believe in the death penalty. I voted for the death penalty against one nigga. And I pray to God I don't never have to go through that again. I hope that the women in my family learned a valuable lesson by looking at what happened to Sergeant Crystal Reagan. The foolish decisions and choices she made sealed her fate 5 years before she died. But I remember her. I remember her being a gentle soul. I remember her being a smart woman. I remember her serving the United States Army. For years, she served in the Iraq War on 2 different tours, 18 months. And when she came back to this country, she was cut down like a fucking tree. And just like a whole lot of you military veterans are cut down like fucking trees in a fucking forest. In my opinion, if you kill a military veteran, you should be put to death. Automatic. Automatic. It's just the same thing as if you kill a cop. How many cop killers you see sitting on death row? All of them are killed. All of them are done. They're not here. That's what I believe. And Congress has the power to change certain policies and laws. But it's just like Shirley Chisholm said when she went into Congress. It was a bunch of ancient, old motherfuckers that did not want certain policies to change. And she said it seemed like they had been there for years. Why you think they were such in a hurry to get rid of her out of Congress? She left Congress when Ronald Reagan was voted in. And everybody knows who Ronald Reagan is. Ronald Reagan is a racist white man voted in. He was the governor of California. He was against the Black Panther Party. You see all the shit, all the policies he wrote up to get rid of them. A bunch of people he didn't fucking know, but he didn't like them because of the color of their fucking skin. And black people are so disrespected in this country. I remember reading about black people in this country that were slaves and they ran away. They ran to the north. Some of them ran to the north. Some of them ran to the south. Some of them were so bold, they ran to Mexico. They were stationary in Mexico for many, many years. They helped Mexico fight against Spain. That's how Mexico won their independence. Every country black people are in and we fight in those wars, every country wins their independence, even the United States. But the United States will never admit how black people have contributed to this fucking country. They had a discussion on Lonnie One Love's channel the other day, yesterday morning, about the hip hop music industry and how certain people in rap is trying to say that black people in this country did not invent that musical style. They did. Rap music, hip hop was born in the Bronx, New York, and it was created by black children during that time. We had the rappers, we had the MCs, we had the block parties, we had the breakdance parties, we had the popping contests. It was created by black people, just like bluegrass belongs to black people. Gospel music belongs to black people. R&B belongs to black people. Rock and roll belongs to black people. We invented it. But they don't want to give us our credit. Shout out to Lonnie One Love for doing that video yesterday. She mentioned it. And she said how she feels like certain things that is happening in this country and black people have contributed. Black people have invented it and seem like they just want to steal it away. A bunch of Puerto Ricans are saying they invented hip hop. You didn't invent hip hop. Hip hop was invented by the black youth of the Bronx, New York. That's where it was invented. Certain things were invented in New York. Mary J. Blige, she's from Yonkers, New York. DMX, he's from Yonkers, New York. They invented their own styles of singing and rapping and performing. But in a few more years, certain ethnic groups gonna take responsibility for that. Black people in this country need to start fucking waking up. Wake up to the possibility that your culture and your history and the things you have done to help the world, the whole world, is being stolen from you. And you niggas refuse to speak up. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat.